Another day, another race swap, and of course, another corporate entity calling its customers races. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Magic the Gathering, changing Lord of the Rings character Aragorn into a black guy. And of course, a lot of controversy on Twitter is spreading. People are giving out their opinions about this race swap. And for me personally, this is like kind of something really tired of seeing, where it's just these companies are pandering to, I guess, I'm guessing like these racial groups or something like that, just trying to show their inclusivity. I know that's a new thing that's popular nowadays with corporations, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it seems like a part of that with Magic the Gathering, where they're trying to include other races into some properties, which I don't have a problem with it. But just with Lord of the Rings specifically, it kind of just messes up the lore of the entire of Tolkien's entire creation, and it kind of gets in the way of everything. So I understand that the anger of some of the fans, and I kind of understand the confusion of some of the people that are not fans. They think this is just something trivial, and it's kind of respectful to the work when you understand Tolkien himself and why he created the Lord of the Rings, and how much effort he put in to create a mythology for the English people in England, and the efforts of him creating a whole new language, and just creating different philosophies, and implementing his study of theology into the themes of Lord of the Rings. Seeing that kind of trampled on by people that don't understand it, and don't respect it, that is gonna be something that angers the fans. It's something Rings of Power from Amazon learned quickly when they did their alterations to the story of Lord of the Rings, and it's something Magic the Gathering is gonna have to suffer as well, because their clear change of this character's skin color is a fact that they don't understand Tolkien's work, where it's a reflection of medieval times in Europe. So everyone is not as diverse as they're meant to be. So Aragorn, as a character, he is a character of a specific location for a reason. He lends himself to the story because of that. And I think this is just it shows the shallow thinking of these corporations when they're putting out products, because they don't take into account the creativity and history of the work they're creating from, or they're building upon. So and specifically this situation itself, the race swaps, for me is just kind of gets annoying too, because you could just create a cool character, something in Shadow of Mordor, the video game that had black characters from the black race that Tolkien described. I think they're called the Haradrim. I forget how to pronounce it specifically, but they're the soldiers, or the country nation corrupted by Sauron, and it's just you have a whole field of a world that you can create from just from a small description of these groups of people, of a black race of people that Tolkien described. So for me, it's just like you have I think just looking at it from that perspective, for me, I think Tolkien gave at least, I think, the minorities the greatest gift here. Is like, we can create anything from his world. We don't have to steal characters. He has specific races that he has some detail, but it's open to interpretation. You can create new characters, new exciting I guess details to Tolkien's world. So it's open in a certain way if you're a diverse character. But these corporations just know the big name characters, and they feel safer to race swap these characters for profit. So that's their strategy. I think it's failing. Usually it's not as successful as they think it is. I know Little Mermaid came out. It's kind of not doing as well as it's supposed to be. So it's a gamble that they're taking, and I think they're losing. So let me read this article about it. Let's go over the details, and I'll give you a little bit more of my perspective. But here we go. Black Aragorn in Lord of the Rings sparks outrage. Okay, let's see. The change of Lord of the Rings characters' race from white to black in a collectible card game has sparked controversy online. New artwork portraying Aragorn, a human character in the J.J.R.R. Tolkien, I almost said J.J. Abrams. That is a gross misinterpretation of this author. J.R.R. Tolkien high fantasy in Magic the Gathering released on social media on Sunday was met with both praise and outrage, with one user reacting, "I hate this so much." The issue of race swapping characters is part of the wider debate about whether characters of minority groups should be played by actors who are not those minorities. Some say minority actors who have historically been overlooked should be given these parts to improve representation in the arts, while others say actors should be able to portray any character well. Though Aragon has been portrayed as white in previous Lord of the Rings media, in the Magic Gathering artwork, he's been depicted as black with hair twists and a gray and goatee beard. "This is just race baiting," Thomas Crown tweeted in response, "a publicity stunt in the worst taste. I find it hard to understand why would it be beneficial to take a Numenorian and turn it into another race," Italian artist Federico Martani said. "Isn't it more empowering to have great characters that fit a race and are proud of it, instead of taking well-established ones and swap them?" Yeah, that's the main point I'm saying. Like, just create new characters. But I feel these corporations think it's safer to just swap characters. But I think you're just alienating the majority of the fan base, including black people or whatever race you're switching the character to. You're alienating them if they're really fans of the work. If you're a fan of Tolkien, you're like, what are you doing? I want to see the Aragon I grew up with. So for me, it's kind of like just a backhanded compliment, or just like someone giving you scraps. So for me, I'm not really interested in that type of representation. Just create characters. I mean, for years they've been creating characters in Hollywood. With every Will Smith character is a created character. Every Denzel Washington character is a created character. It's Wesley Snipes as well. So it's just this has been going on for years now. So just create more characters. But I feel like these I guess institutions just they're dead set on swaps for some reason. This era of Hollywood, and I think it's gonna fail them for the most part. All right, let me continue reading. Aragon is described in the books. Oh, I already read that. "This is a lovely piece of artwork, and while I never imagined Aragorn as black, Tolkien might well have," a gaming writer says. "Gamer bros and dudes are willing to believe in orcs, trolls, wizards, talking trees, giant owls, but a black man in their fantasy, shocking hard." This is a comment from another Twitter person who has no understanding of Tolkien. He's just fighting like a political warfare in his own mind. So there's a lot of people like that in Twitter, and I think they just don't have any understanding of the work of Tolkien. So for me, I kind of just ignore comments like that. And yeah, I think that's it for the most part. For me, I already told you what I think. I think we just need to have a representation of the characters that Tolkien already has created. He created just a region where you can create a wealth of characters for on your own, really. So these corporations, they could do that. They could introduce some new characters and get people interested in their stories. And I think I'll be more interested in that, because we already heard the story of Aragorn. We don't need a retread. We don't need to swap characters. We could just have new stories, and you can have whatever race you have in those stories be represented there. So for me, that's my perspective. Tell me what you think about it. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you think it's important to have representation, and I would like to hear your argument. If you don't, if you agree with me, then I appreciate your agreement. Then until next time, catch you next time.